Good morning. We ask our guests and visitors in the rear of the chamber and in the gallery to please stand for the prayer. The day's prayer will be offered by our Assembly Chaplain, Reverend Bob Oshta. Reverend Oshta.
In our special gathering today, the California State Assembly and Senate, for the State of the State Address by our Governor Edmund G. Brown Jr., let us close our eyes in a moment of reflection. The past, the present, the future. We can yearn for the past and wish for how things were before, but we cannot live there. We cannot live in the past. We can wonder and worry about the future, but we cannot live there. We are only living in this moment right now. From the past we can learn, for experience is the seed of wisdom. For the future we can plan, aware that what we do or do not do will be a part of creating what is to come. Knowing this, let us try our best to have what we do now be guided by wisdom of our experience and motivation that is so deep and so genuine, it is worthy of being called compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. With gratitude and kindness beyond words.
We ask our guests and visitors to remain standing and join us for the flag salute. Join Assembly Member Chow as he leads us in the pledge.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Reading of the previous day's journal.
Assembly Chamber, Sacramento, Monday, January 9, 2017.
Mr. Calderon moves and Mr. May seconds that the reading of the day's previous journal will be dispensed with. Presentations of petitions, there are none. Introductions and reference of bills will be deferred. Reports of committees will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Messages from the governor, there are none. Messages from the Senate, there are none. Motions and resolutions. Absences, all absences will be deemed read and printed in the journal. If you haven't already done so, please silence your phones at this time. Mr. Calderon, you are recognized for your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 118A and allow Speaker Rendon to have guests and photographers on the floor, in the gallery, and at the rostrum for the Governor's State of the State Address and the administration of the oath of office to the Attorney General Designate.
Without objection, the request is granted. We will recess the regular session and convene the joint convention. California Senate constitutional officers, Board of Equalization, and Justices of the Supreme Court are in the chamber. Everyone, please take your seats. We will now prepare for the swearing in of the Honorable Javier Becerra as our new Attorney General. I am appointing a joint committee to escort Mr. Becerra and his wife, Dr. Reyes, to the rostrum. Members, please retire to the rear of the chamber when your names are called. Assembly members Joan Sawyer, Stone, David Chu, Eggman, Reyes, Weber. Senators Atkins, Hertzberg, Wesso, Jackson, and Pan. Will the escort committee please bring Mr. Becerra, Dr. Reyes, forward? Governor Edmund G. Brown Jr. is in the chamber. I am appointing a joint committee to escort the governor to the rostrum. Please retire to the rear of the chamber as your name is called. Assemblymember Aguiar Curry, Cervantes, Chavez, Grayson, Lowe, Nazarian, Ridley Thomas. Senators Bates, Fuller, Lara, Leyva, Mitchell, and Newman. Members and guests, please welcome the 39th Governor of the great state of California, the Honorable Edmund G. Brown Jr. We are now moving to a truly historic occasion. I ask the Honorable Javier Becerra to step forward and receive the oath of office from our Governor Edmund G. Brown Jr.
You're going to be the tallest. Not a lot of room. All right. You ready?
I think so.
Raise your right hand and say after me. I, Javier Becerra,
I, Javier Becerra,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the great state of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I'll bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
That's it. Congratulations. Good luck.
Congratulations. We have several honored guests here today. Please welcome the First Lady and Counsel to the Governor, Ann Gus Brown. The constitutional officers of California, Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom. Our new Attorney General, Javier Becerra. Our Secretary of State, Alex Padilla. Our State Treasurer, John Chung. Our State Controller, Betty Yee. Our Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Torlakson. And our Insurance Commissioner, Dave Jones. We have a number of the members of the Board of Equalization. Please welcome the Chairwoman of the Board of Equalization, Fiona Ma. Board Member George Renner. Board Member Jerome Horton. And Board Member Diane Harkey. The California Supreme Court Justices, the Chief Justice Tani Cantil-Sakauye. Associate Justice, the Honorable Ming Chen. Associate Justice, the Honorable Goodwin Liu. Associate Justice, the Honorable Mariano Florentino Cuellar. Welcome to all other distinguished public officials and special guests who have joined us in the chamber today. We would especially like to welcome the family of our new Attorney General, Javier Becerra, his wife, Dr. Reyes, as well as his daughters, Clarissa and Olivia. Their daughter, Natalia, was unable to join us today, but his very proud parents, Manuel and Maria Becerra, are here. I apologize. I also would like to introduce another member of the California Supreme Court who's joined us today, Carol Corrigan. Thank you to all our special guests for joining us. This weekend, hundreds of thousands of Californians marched for women's rights, for equality, and for justice. The passion and commitment to those issues are shared by many of us here in the Capitol. We don't know if the threats from the new administration to our state's values and its people will be made real, but I'm glad to have Governor Edmund G. Brown fighting with us and for all of us. Now I'm pleased to introduce the President Pro Tem of the California Senate, the Honorable Kevin De Leon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for your hospitality and your unwavering partnership in protecting and advancing the interests of all Californians. Colleagues, friends, and fellow Californians, you know where I stand on the challenges ahead of us. But I want to make something very clear, that we can and must face these challenges together. Wherever you live, whoever you represent, wherever you fall on the ideological spectrum, we are all Californians, bound by the declaration that every person should enjoy the right to be exactly who they want to be and have an equal opportunity to succeed. It's a simple proposition that inspires generations of dreamers and innovators and powers one of the strongest economic engines in the world. By any definition, that proposition is now under threat. And it's time for us to work together, all of us, and focus on the fate and the future of our Golden State. And I believe that history will judge what we do here for the next 2 years. They will judge the fearlessness we summon together in defending California's progress, just as the pioneers who founded this state did not stop blazing new trails when they reached the Pacific. We will maintain the spirit of innovation and exploration that makes our state a global force for progress. We will carry the torch to ensure that essential promise of America, liberty and justice for all, endures. California is America, only more so. Now please welcome someone who I know who shares these values, Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom.
Well, in the spirit of the pro tem began, I want to share just a few short thoughts and a relatively short introduction to Governor Brown, which has not, by the way, always been the case with lieutenant governors. So I want to at least go on record getting some credit for the brevity of my remarks. In this House, we are in the employ, I think all of you would agree, of the most diverse people on earth, representing every possible color, creed, and community. And that diversity, in the words of the late Kevin Starr, is the persistent DNA code of California. And perhaps more than at any other time in our state's history, that denomination, which we too often take for granted, holds urgent significance. Californians stand on the shoulders of giants and geniuses, and now are the best hope for a more effective, optimistic, and inclusive way forward. A nation-state antidote to the vitriol and the vindictiveness that is infecting our federal politics. We have always been unafraid to lead, and in the last few months, we have announced repeatedly and emphatically that we are unafraid to fight. Because what's at stake isn't just about our policies, it's about our people. It's our engine of prosperity, the fundamental promise that no matter your language, no matter your last name, there's a place of ascent on the ladder for you. Which is why California contrasts must keep shining brighter than ever, defined not by carnage, but by courage. Opportunity for all, discrimination against none, progress based on evidence, not alternative facts. Empowered by the limitless passion and genuine populism demonstrated not just on the Washington Mall this last Friday, but on Saturday when millions and millions of Americans in cities large and small stepped up and stepped in and they spoke out and they demanded to be heard. It's not much, I appreciate, Holly, the applause. But I don't think it's much of an exaggeration. I think most of you agree that the world, is looking to all of us, to all of you, and that the dreams of millions of people are in many ways dependent upon what you do. The challenge falls on all of you, and the exact right people. I think you are the exact right people at the exact right time, and in particular, the exact right governor. It was about 50 years ago, in the face of systemic inequality and prejudice, that Bobby Kennedy famously reminded us that what the world needs are the qualities of youth. Not a time of life, but a state of mind, a temper of the will, a quality of the imagination, a predominance of courage over timidity, of an appetite of adventure over the love of ease. So at this moment in history, a political, a demographic, an economic, and technological hinge moment, California is blessed to be led by a governor who, regardless of the calendar's progression, has always embodied those qualities, regardless of his time of life. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Governor Edmund G. Brown, Jr. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure what that reference to the calendar was. I don't have a calendar, although I know the days are drawing near. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for all that energy and the enthusiasm. It's just what we need for the battle ahead. So keep it up and don't falter. This is California. We're the 6th most powerful economy in the world. 1 out of every 8 Americans lives right here. And 27%, almost 11 million, were born in a foreign land. When California does well, America does well. And when California hurts, America hurts. And when we defend California, we defend America. As the English poet John Donne said almost 400 years ago, no man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. And therefore, never send to know whom the bell tolls. It tells for thee. A few moments ago, I swore into office our new Attorney General. Like so many others, he's the son of immigrants who saw California as a place where, through their own grit and determination, they could realize their dreams. And they're not alone. Millions of Californians have come from Mexico and 100 other countries. And they've come here making our state what it is today, vibrant, even turbulent, and a beacon of hope to the rest of the world. We don't have a Statue of Liberty with its inscription, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." But we do have the Golden Gate and a spirit of adventure and openness that has welcomed, since the gold rush of 1848, one wave of immigration after another. For myself, I feel very privileged to stand before you this morning as your governor, as my father did 60 years ago. His mother, Ida, my grandmother, the youngest of 8 children, was born in very modest circumstances, not very far from where we're gathered today. Her father arrived in California, right here in Sacramento, in 1852, having left from the port of Hamburg aboard a ship named Perseverance. I just learned that last year. Perseverance. It's that spirit and perseverance and courage which built our state from the beginning. And it's that spirit which will get us through the great uncertainty and the difficulties ahead. It's customary on an occasion like this to lay out a specific agenda for the year ahead. 6 times before on this rostrum, I've done exactly that with enormous detail. And as I read through those State of the State speeches, I was really amazed at how much all of us have done together. We've increased by tens of billions of dollars the support for our public schools and universities. We provided health insurance to over 5 million Californians. We've raised the minimum wage. We've reduced prison overcrowding, and most important, we've reformed the system of crime and punishment, and that's really significant. We've made California a world leader in the fight against climate change. We passed the water bond. We built up a rainy day fund, and we closed a $27 billion deficit. And during the last 7 years, California has reduced the unemployment rate from 12.1 to 5.2%. By the way, I said California created that, not us. We helped a little bit, I hope, and hopefully didn't cause too much interference. Anyway, 2.5 million jobs, almost 2.5 million jobs have been created, and that's not all. But this morning, it's hard for me to keep my thoughts just on California. The recent election and inauguration of a new president has shown deep divisions across America. While no one knows what the new leaders will actually do, there are signs that are disturbing. We've seen the bold assertion of alternative facts, whatever those are. We've heard the blatant attacks on science. Familiar signposts of our democracy, truth, civility, working together, have been obscured or even swept aside. But on Saturday, we also saw something else. In cities across the country, we witnessed a vast and inspiring fervor that is stirring in the land. Democracy doesn't come from the top. It starts at the bottom, and it spreads in the hearts of the people. In the hearts of Americans, our core principles are as strong as ever. So as we reflect on the state of our state, we should do so in the much broader context of our country and the challenges it faces. We must prepare for very uncertain times and reaffirm the basic principles that have made California the great exception that it is. First, in California, immigrants are an integral part of who we are and what we become. They've helped create the wealth and the dynamism of this state from the very beginning. I recognize that under the Constitution, federal law is supreme and that Washington determines immigration policy. But as a state, we can and we have played an important role. California has enacted several protective measures for the undocumented: the Trust Act, the driver's licenses, basic employment rights, and non-discriminatory access to higher education. This is what made the Dreamers, and you made it happen. We may be called to defend those laws, and defend them we will. And let me be clear, we will defend everybody, every man, woman, and child who's come here for a better life and has contributed to the well-being of our state. My second point relates to health care. More than any other state, California has embraced the Affordable Care Act, and over 5 million people now enjoys its benefits. But that coverage has come with tens of billions of dollars from the federal government. Were any of that to be taken away, our state budget would be directly affected, possibly even devastated. That's why I intend to join with other governors and senators and with you to do everything we can to protect the health care of our people. And by the way, we're going to fight for Planned Parenthood, who have been unfairly attacked in too many places in this country. Our state is known the world over for actions we've taken to encourage renewable energy and combat climate change. Whatever they do in Washington, they can't change the facts. And these are the facts. The climate is changing. The temperatures are rising, and so are the oceans. Natural habitats everywhere are under stress. The world knows this. 194 countries have signed the Paris Agreement to control greenhouse gases. Our own voluntary agreement to accomplish the same goal, the Under 2 MOU, has 165 signatories representing 1 billion people throughout the whole world. We can't fall back and give in to the climate deniers. The science is clear. The danger is real. We can do much on our own, and we can join with others, other states and provinces, even countries, to stop the dangerous rise in climate pollution. And make no mistake, we're going to do exactly that. Fourth is infrastructure. Now, here's the topic where the President of the state is firm intention to build and build big. In fact, he met with several labor leaders yesterday and committed to a $1 trillion investment in public works across America. And I say, amen to that, man. Amen to that, brother. We're there with you. Here's what the President said in his inaugural address. We'll build new roads and highways and bridges and airports and tunnels and railways all across our wonderful nation. And in this, we can all work together, here in Sacramento and also in Washington as well. We have roads, we have tunnels, we have railroads, and even a dam that the President can help us with. We should get some applause there, shouldn't we, Jim? And that's what's going to create good-paying American jobs. As we face the hard journey ahead, we have to summon, as Abraham Lincoln said, the better angels of our nature. Above all, we have to live in the truth. We all have our opinions, but for democracy to work, we have to trust each other. We have to strive to understand the facts and state them clearly as we argue our points of view. As Hugo Grotius said, the famous Dutch jurist, very long ago, even God cannot cause 2 times 2 not to be 4. When the science is clear and when our own eyes tell us that the seats in this chamber are filled and the sun is shining, we must say so, not construct some alternative universe of non-facts that we find more pleasing. Along with truth, we must practice civility. Although we've disagreed often along party lines, we've generally been civil to one another and avoided the rancor of Washington. I urge you to go even further and look for new ways to work beyond party and act as Californians first. Democrats are in the majority, but Republicans represent real Californians too. And by the way, those Californians want to be heard too, and they want to be listened to. So let's work together as Republicans and Democrats and find more things to do together. We went beyond party when we reformed workers' compensation, when we created the rainy day fund, and we passed the water fund. Let's do it again and set an example for the rest of the country, and in the process, we'll earn the respect of the people of California. Now that's a very good sign of potential bipartisanship. That may have been the biggest applause we got. So that's together, not separate. And then there's perseverance. It's not an accident that the sailing ship that brought my great-grandfather to America was named Perseverance. That is exactly what it took to endure the dangerous and uncertain months at sea, sailing from Germany to America. While we now face different challenges, make no mistake, the future is uncertain and dangers abound. Whether it's the threat to our budget, or to undocumented Californians, or to our efforts to combat climate change, or even more global threats, such as a financial meltdown, or a nuclear incident, or a terrorist attack, this is a time which calls for courage and for perseverance, and I promise you both. But let us remember as well that after the perilous voyage, those who made it to America found boundless opportunity, and so will we. Let me end in the immortal words of Woody Guthrie. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters, This land was made for you and me. And here's the part I really like. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can ever make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. California is not turning back, not now, not ever. His truth is marching on. Thank you. What do we do now?
I think so, yeah, over here. Yeah. Stand up again. Thank you. Thank you, Governor Brown. Without objection, the Governor's State of the State address shall be printed in the Journal as a separate appendix. We will adjourn the joint convention sine die. We are back in regular session. The session schedule is as follows: Wednesday, January 25th, check-in. Thursday, January 26th, floor session at 9 a.m. All other items remaining will be passed and retained. All motions shall be continued. Seeing and hearing no further business, I am ready to entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Calderon moves, Mr. May seconds, that this House stands adjourned until Thursday, January 26th at 9 a.m. Quorum call is lifted.
Okay, good job. Good.